Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. I am Dr. Khizer Hussain Junaidy. I sincerely thank the HMP India for giving me this opportunity to be on this platform and share my insights on minimalistic healthcare marketing, how we can build patient trust without the hype. So these are my humble experiences that I am sharing with you. This is from my journey of a small clinic to a healthcare institution built on the foundation of honesty, patient care, and ethical practices. So this clinic actually started as Khurshid Healthcare, and it was a 2.5 hour OP clinic in the evening. After I would go to Apollo Hospital in the morning, and in the evening for 2.5 hours, I would sit in that clinic. And I was sure of one thing, that I didn't want to choose a name for which I would have to change my registrations with the government and maybe my letterheads, etc. So I chose healthcare instead of a clinic, polyclinic, or any other name. I chose Khurshid Healthcare so that this name would encompass even a hospital if I transition into one tomorrow. That name allowed for future expansion, and it was a grassroots level marketing. Initially, it was we distributed pamphlets, and I was proactively giving out my visiting cards during daily interactions with anyone I would meet. So anybody asks me, "Aap kya kar rahe hain?" I would say, I am a doctor. And where are you working? I work at Apollo, but I have a small clinic in Vijayanagar, colony, whatever. And and then initially, maybe first month or maximum first 2 months, every Friday there was a mosque nearby where we would distribute our pamphlets to potential people. And trust building. So we offered honest advice, waived fee when uncertain, and followed up by phone. This is what I honestly did, and I still do it. When a patient comes to me, I want to justify his or her visit to my clinic. And when I am uncertain of the diagnosis or the treatment, then number one, I don't take fee. I call maybe if needed a super specialist or a colleague who might help me with the diagnosis or the way forward in that patient. And if it is a small thing jiske liye he has guided me, then I convey that advice to the patient right away. If the friend insists that he physically be seen, then I ask them to go to the doctor, and when I am referring them for a cross consultation, I waive off my fee. I don't take my fee. And say I am uncertain, but I am like, theek hai, this is a very good possibility, let us wait, ek do din mein kuch nahi hota. Then in such cases also I would not take my fee, and I would follow up 1 day later, 2 days later. How is he doing? How is she doing? And is he better, same, or worse? So accordingly we would then proceed. So this is how we originated, and this is the human approach that built our brand. Number one, it was time over transaction. We had to ensure, I would ensure that patient is felt, truly seen and heard. Everything that he has to say, of course, what is relevant to the consultation, I would lend my full attention, give my full attention to the patient, and hear him out. If he has a lot of reports to show, I would patiently see all the reports, previous history, etc. And I would never make them feel that their consultation was rushed. Doctor साहब busy थे, बस देख लिए बढ़ा दिए, मैं मुतमईन नहीं हुआ. I would never let that happen. At least consciously I would not let that happen. And then a personal follow-up, regular calls to track patient recovery. This I would only do when I was not certain of the outcome of the patient. He may improve, he might not improve. If he improves, it's great. If he doesn't improve, then we have to do this next. So then I would follow up such patients. And it was a community growth. Trust me when I say this, when I would do this, I was building a closely knitted community of my patients. And these patients, literally, family in English would be a small term to say that. I would say khandans of patients would come. Khandan is an Urdu word for, a very big family, big family. So that is the kind of patients that we had from each family. So uncles, aunts, generations of patients would come from the same family. And then it was COVID, and this was our turning point. And we continued to provide accessible care. It remained open during the peak COVID, and 100 rupees consultation fee was maintained. And this was the time when patients were being exploited by some people, but we chose ethics over anything else. And we handled home cases with honesty about what was possible and what was not. We would tell that it's oral medicines can be given to this group, or maybe IV medicines with some oxygen can be managed at home, and a third group which is really critical, we would recommend that they get admitted. So we did that, and then this helped in soaring our reputations due to sincere service when people needed it the most. People saw, this fellow, 100 rupees mein he's seeing hundreds of patients, and genuinely recommending, giving advice and spending time reassuring people, and that really led to an explosive growth. And I tell you, it even 100 rupees was kept us in huge profits. That was because it was a small clinic and my overheads were hardly any, and therefore our net profits were significant. And then we scaled the same thing into a 7x larger space with over 40 staff members, and we maintained the principles: no overpricing, no cutting corners, and affordability is one of the cornerstones. When my cardiologist friend joined Caspian, we introduced the 699 rupees cardiac profile bundle. This would include ECG, sugar, 2D echo, and a cardiologist, a qualified cardiologist consultation. This would otherwise cost maybe 2,500 rupees elsewhere, but we were doing it for 699, and this was our easy to buy, no brainer product. And people saw sincerity in it, and we were able to create a difference by doing just that in the lives of so many patients. Before you understand what we did, or maybe after you understand what we did, I want you to understand what we didn't do. We never did paid advertisements. Even today, I personally see 70 to 100 patients a day. My cardiologist sees 20 plus patients a day. Our pediatrician sees 25 to 30 patients a day. And all of these patients come to us organically without any paid advertisements. We didn't take any fake testimonials. There was no fear-based or marketing, fear-mongering among patients. Do this, otherwise this will happen. We never did that. We never exploited patient anxieties to drive business, and we were always open to patient feedback. We implemented suggestions. We had a reception which was really compact. We could, I think, have only one PC over there, where OP consultation billing and lab billing was happening simultaneously at the same place. However, when patients pointed out that this is becoming the bottleneck, we listened to them. We reduced the space in my consultation room, and expanded the reception. And now there are 3 people working at the reception simultaneously. Similarly, patients pointed out in a Google review that there are stains of blood on the nursing room wall. We painted it. Somebody said, it's hot inside. We put air conditioners. So, be open to patient feedback. That is something that you are not going to get even when you pay it. So, such things, it might be embarrassing, it might be humiliating, whatever manner in which the patient wants to convey, let him do it. You take it positively and create an impact in your place. This is what I said when Khandans become your campaign. I really feel that family is a small word. Entire extended families seek care at Caspian today. There's a regional reach. Patients travel from Karnataka, Maharashtra, and across Telangana. And, patients coming from different districts of Telangana is a usual sight at our place. It is a small clinic, small healthcare center. Still, it is a usual sight for patients to come from 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 200 kilometers. And word of mouth referrals outpace any paid marketing effort. It is all these patients are our ambassadors who refer patients to us, and each satisfied patient becomes an authentic brand ambassador. So that's the trust network that we have. Low technology, high trust, digital presence. This is what we did. Google reviews. We have 1200 plus Google reviews, and our average Google rating is 4.9, and our content is 100% authentic. There are no purchase followers, no purchase engagement. But however, our content is curated to our target audience, and even if there are small number of followers, I'm sure it augments. And our focus is generally on the three platforms: Google, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. We are present on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, but our focus is these three areas. And WhatsApp is our digital backbone, where educational updates, we share valuable health information without overwhelming patients. Any new happening, anything that could potentially benefit someone, we do it. And appointment reminders, simple system to reduce missed appointments. Patients can book appointments at Caspian for up to 21 days in advance, and they can reschedule their appointment, and there will be simple WhatsApp reminders to them. And follow-up care, we check on patients' progress without intrusion. And community building, channels that foster connection without commercialization. That is what we are trying to build. There's a small, again, another community of ours, the Caspian Diabetes Club, where patients with diabetes are a part of that club. And initially, we have diabetes educator there. We have our one or two doctors over there. I am also a part of the community. Initially, we would respond to every question that the patient puts. Now, community members help each other. And thought leadership, that matters. I want you to reflect on this for a moment. Who is a bigger brand? Is it Ambani or Reliance? Is it Elon Musk or Tesla? Is it Ratan Tata or the Tata Group? So it is always the person behind the company who is a bigger brand than the company itself. So I want you to become a thought leader in your domain. That is what I did. I am a regular presenter at many conferences which are relevant to me. I am either a speaker, at least a delegate, a moderator, or a chairperson in any of the diabetes conference that is happening across India. And LinkedIn pay, yes, I share insights. They are not promotions. I never solicit patients, come to Caspian, do this, come to me, I'll help you. I never do that. I just share insights. I just tell, this thing exists. I hope you know this. And not that you should not do it. Maybe 4 times you're giving an information, an educational update. 1 time you can ask for something in return. You can have a call to action in the 5th time, something like that. But 80% of the times you should focus on educating your target, your audience. That really nurtures them. And then peer collaboration, so building respect with the medical community through knowledge sharing. I happen to be an executive committee member of the Indian Society of Hypertension Telangana chapter, and regularly we do a lot of CMEs. And this credibility compounds. You don't need 10 platforms. You just need one reason for people to trust you. And it could be consistent care. Every patient interaction builds your reputation, so you never know which patient has what background. So you have to offer consistent care to everyone. Don't be judgmental. And this is not just for the doctor inside the chamber. It is for every staff member in your organization. Satisfied patients become your ambassadors, and trust creates compound interest in patient relationships. So this trust, it keeps building, and that brings a sustained growth. And affordability with dignity is what I want to balance at Caspian. So I am not a charity hospital, but at the same time, I want to avoid exploitation. I maintain low profit margins, but I build high trust. And clear positioning in the market based on honest value is what we do. This is our balanced approach. We want that people get excellence in healthcare, at a reasonable price. At a reasonable price, yeah. Not that any care just because it is charity. Not that any care just because it is free. So our pricing philosophy, number one, is it is based on value to patient, not market maximums. So despite being a hospital, we offer genuine discounts on pharmacy and lab. And our lab bill is on par with any stand-alone diagnostic center in the community out there. It is as affordable as that. And flexible options for patients with financial constraints. Yes, we go out of bounds to help such people, but if there is a limit to it. We offer discounts, we do what is best possible, but there is a bar below which we don't go. We are like, if you cannot spend this minimum amount, then I think we will not be able to offer you the care. You should seek care elsewhere, maybe in some government or any other center. Then transparent communication, clear costs explained before treatment begins, and ethical balance, so sustainable business while maintaining accessibility. So I don't do what I would be ashamed of if made public. So every marketing decision passes through the filter of conscience, not trends. And this is my honest take. I don't have to answer to anyone about whether I am taking kickbacks, whether I am doing unnecessary tests, whether I am cutting corners for a patient who is not affordable, whether I am reusing something for which I am billing for a new sealed pack. I am not answerable to anyone. I am answerable to my own conscience, and I don't do anything for doing which I would be ashamed of if that were made public. So somebody told me someday, I heard it somewhere, I am not able to recollect who told that. They said, take every decision as if it were to be reported in the newspaper tomorrow. And how would you feel about it if it were made public? So something like that. So I don't do what I would be ashamed of if it were made public. So the no kickback commitment, we don't take kickbacks, no commissions. The people whom we refer to, the hospitals whom we refer to, are people whom we personally know. Even if we are sending our patient to a corporate hospital, it is not because that hospital is standing tall. It is because of that acquaintance, that doctor, that excellent person in that domain who is working in that hospital. That is why we send. And necessary tests only, and ethical partnerships, working only with providers who share our values. If somebody sends me a patient and expects a kickback, then I would not send my patient to them. So and patient-centered care, making decisions based on what's best for the patient. And again, these things are my personal beliefs, my personal experiences, and all. You may or may not relate to it, and if you don't relate to it, I really respect that. So yeah, so if you look at paid marketing versus an organic trust wali marketing, then the patient retention, the referral rate, the marketing cost, and the patient satisfaction, they are on the right side of these bars, and you see they are all higher than the dark colored bars which were acquired by paid marketing. Patient communication best practices. So follow-up calls 48 hours post visit, and we focus on whether they are recovering. And WhatsApp updates, it's educational content, and we roll out at least once a week. And appointment reminders 24 hours before and maybe 2 hours before. This is to prepare them. And the health milestones as achieved, we celebrate and encourage. Like when you arrive 1 year ago, your HbA1c was 13.5, and then it gradually dropped, and now you are at 5.8. Really, you're doing amazing. Building a referral network organically. Patient ambassadors, satisfied patients naturally become your most authentic advocates. If somebody trusts you, then you will be the first person on his dialogue when he's in need of any healthcare provider. So that is what we should become. And professional connections, you have to have good professional connections so that you have a good exchange of patients to and fro. Building relationships with colleagues based on clinical excellence, and community presence, participating in health initiatives that serve rather than sell. So we do a lot of community programs, and again, 26th of every month we do a thyroid camp which is attended by at least 100 patients, and we do that thyroid profile only for 50 rupees that day. Similarly, CBP is done for 50 rupees, HbA1c sometimes is done for 50 rupees. We do a fibroscan camp once in a fortnight, and that is something that costs you 3,500 rupees per scan elsewhere. We do it for 500 rupees, and again, that is a very a camp that people look forward to. Okay, I missed it, I'll get it done the next time. So I got it done, maybe someone else should get it done, and then they refer, and we have good pool of patients that day. Similarly, we do an diabetes expo, and that is done annually in the diabetes awareness month of November. That is the second Sunday of every November. It is a full day program for patients where we screen all patients for diagnosis of diabetes and complications of diabetes, if any. It is a community awareness program. There are a series of symposia for patients by respected doctors of respective subjects. So we could have someone talking about heart disease in diabetes, kidney disease in diabetes, nerve disease in diabetes, etc. So the feedback implementation, I told you, we actively listen to patient suggestions and concerns, identify recurring themes in patient experiences, and make tangible improvements based on feedback. So one thing, again, what I am clear about is from which patient I am getting the feedback. Is that patient my target audience or not? If that patient is not my target audience, I'm sorry, I don't listen to him. I say, I'm sorry, this place might not be for you. However, if he is my target audience and he is complaining about something, then I am all ears to him. So, and I make every conscious effort to improve and implement the change based on their feedback. And then once that feedback is done, we communicate it. So how do we communicate? We post it on our WhatsApp channel. Okay, the other day we had this feedback, that the room is untidy, and then we've painted it now. It looks really good, and then we share a picture. It doesn't take much time and effort, not even a lot of money, but it means a lot to the one who suggested it, and it also shows that these are the people who really value the suggestions that they get, and people would want to give more suggestions to you. So yeah, WhatsApp channel strategy. We share useful health information that empowers patients and provide relevant seasonal health advice. If it is a flu, if it is a season with diarrhea, if it is a season with dengue, we give regular updates, and we communicate it in a respectful frequency. It should be enough to help, not enough to annoy. So you posting something every day, and people they get annoyed and maybe would report you. So for LinkedIn, I personally use it for my professional growth, where I share some case studies. I do a lot of networking, continuing education. I post about my research, medical development, CME programs. How I invite for my future CMEs. I maybe talk about my previous CME that recently happened, etc. And that really helps me get recognition, build authority through consistent valuable contributions. And you have to measure what matters: patient retention rate, referral source tracking, health outcomes, and staff satisfaction. So the other day when I attended the PACE program by Rajiv Talreja, I learned about the win-win strategy. So where all the three stakeholders of a business should win. It should be the management winning, the staff winning, and your audience winning. So that is what matters. Therefore, I mentioned staff satisfaction also, health outcome from the patient's perspective, and patient retention and referral source tracking from a management's perspective. So from clinic to community, building beyond walls, our marketing extends beyond the clinic through community engagement, education initiatives, mentorships, and celebration of milestones with those we serve. So small beginnings, COVID, expansion, regional reputation. So grow quietly and serve loudly. Be reachable, be respectful, and be reliable. So when somebody calls you, and I really feel um, at maybe 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, if somebody calls you and you help him, it might not make any impact. You give a prescription over the phone, it might not create an impact. But at 2:30 a.m. in the night, somebody calls you and tells, Dr. Saab, I am having pain abdomen and loose motions, and I'm not able to go out of home. The frequency of motions is so high. Please tell me something so that I can see the doctor the coming morning, and raat guzar lu. And if you are able to help that patient at that moment, 100% it is going to amplify the trust that he has in you. Similarly, a patient with a serious medical condition and you are diagnosing and referring them appropriately, that makes a lot of difference. A cardiac emergency, you detect it. Okay, it is a heart attack. You have to see a cardiologist right now, get an angiogram done, maybe a stenting done, and it saves the patient's life. He's going to be indebted to you for life. So you have to be reachable. If you cannot answer the call, at least let the assistant answer, your duty doctor answer, your maybe a nurse answer the call. If the patient tells, no, it is an emergency, I want to talk to the doctor right now. So yeah, take a moment to hold what you're doing and talk to the patient. Be respectful, honor each patient's dignity and autonomy, and be reliable. Consistency creates the foundation of trust. It cannot be like, डॉक्टर साहब की मर्जी है, जब बोले जब उठाते, जब बोले जब नहीं उठाते, कब आते क्लिनिक को पता नहीं, कब जाते पता नहीं. If you have given your time, I am available from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. You have to be available for that time. You cannot be, डॉक्टर साहब आज जल्दी आ गए थे, जल्दी निकल गए, देर से आए थे, देर तक बैठे हुए हैं. And somebody who came on time 3 बजे, he's waiting for the doctor to come. He doesn't show up till 4. He leaves the clinic. And then somebody tells 5 baje he came. So be reliable, be consistent. Focus on clarity, communication, and not visibility. Caffeine grew without hype. Only have it honesty and heart. So, with this, I end my this thing. If you have any questions, you're welcome. Meanwhile, I'll.
Hello everyone. I think. Is my voice audible?
Yeah.
So I'm the host for this meeting. I'm Dr. Amreen. I think I should have introduced Dr. Khizer initially, but somehow the meeting started abruptly. So Dr. Khizer is not just a general physician and diabetologist. He is also the director at Caspian Healthcare. He has come from very humble beginnings and has grown organically in the healthcare market. And I'm Dr. Amreen. I'm a pediatrician at Caspian Healthcare, and I also am his wife. So I just wanted you to answer a few questions that would help people understand where you're coming from and what your core values are. So the first question that I would like to ask you is, what would you define as success as a doctor and as a healthcare entrepreneur? What output would be defined as a success for you?
So yeah, it can have multiple definitions based on what you see as success. For me, my everyday success is even if I am able to make a tangible difference in the health of one of my patients who was struggling with ill health. So, for the last 14 days, his fever is not resolving. And I figure out that this fever ka focus is in the liver. There's an abscess in the liver and we treat it, diagnose it. That is success for me. So, similarly, from a business perspective, success would be when you as an organization, your staff, your team, and your patients, they are all winning. That is another definition for success. So based on the context, it differs.
Right. So, what motivated you to start your own practice? Was it an accidental thing that you landed up here, or was it a conscious decision? And instead of working in a corporate setup, why did you so soon in your career think of having your own setup?
So I happen to graduate and do my post graduation also from a government setup where I've seen that care was provided for free, but I don't think it was offered with dignity. While on the other hand, when after my graduation, I started working in a private setup, um, there I saw it was offered with dignity, but maybe, you know, um, it was not very affordable. It was about 20 kilometers from the city. I would travel every day, and students in a hostel, a Chaitanya hostel, would come for routine illnesses, and our people would force us to admit them at least in daycare, and do some unethical stuff, unnecessarily give IV injections, etc., even when they can be managed with oral medicines. Um, so this I wanted to strike a balance between these two. I wanted it to be affordable and yet provided with dignity, provide dignity to the patient. So, and I felt after getting so many warnings from the management in that hospital, I felt that even if it is a small clinic, if I am the owner, then I am the boss. I have the authority over everything. So that led me to start that clinic. Though it was a very small clinic, hardly 125 SFT, one shutter. Later it expanded to maybe 500 SFT. Now the current clinic, as you know, is 3,500 SFT.
How do you balance the desire for growth while keeping the commitment to remain honest, affordable, and ethical? How do you balance these two ends of the
Yeah.
spectrum?
So there were points, there were times, especially initially, when we had not even achieved our break even, and it was really difficult um, to to continue what we were doing, what we had embarked upon. But we chose struggle and the um, patient route over a fast growth. We continued what we had started, and now with time, with a more trust built in the community, we now don't have a problem in continuing that.
Okay. Can you say what are the small everyday things that you do on an everyday basis that, when done consistently, would build one's practice?
So, like I said, one thing is I try my best to be available to every patient who calls me. I try not to skip their calls. Uh, Even if I am busy, I ensure that one of the nurses answers my call. That's number one. Second is, when the patient is in front of me, then I don't think about anything else. It is this patient and I. That's all. And I really don't care about whether he can pay me or not, whether he has paid fee already outside or not, whether anything else. I don't care. What I try to figure out is how best I can help this patient in the available means that he has, even if that means admitting the patient. And if he can pay the bare minimum that we have set, then I admit them and get them treated. And similarly, if I have to get a higher investigation done for the patient, I ensure that even beyond the kickback that I would otherwise get in lab, more discount to my patients. And this is possible when you are giving an exclusive support for a particular lab test to a particular diagnostic center. So, for CTs, maybe we get our CT brain done for as low as 1,000 rupees, a CT paranasal sinus for as low as 1,500 rupees, a CT KUB for as low as 2,000 rupees, a CT chest for as low as 2,500 rupees, and that is possible only because of our exclusive support, and that really helps the patients. And these are small things which over time augment and build that trust in the patient.
So, to build this ethical practice, what kind of a social media presence do you think a doctor needs to have? I mean, what would be the principles that one must follow while using social media for their marketing?
Because it is about the needs, the desires, the fantasies, the fears, the pain points, and the problems your target audience faces. Okay, so you have to give a decent of all of these. It cannot be just one thing. You're just talking about fantasy. You're just talking about fears. It cannot be like that. You talk about fear, you talk about problem, you talk about pinpoint, you talk about need, you talk about desire, you talk about fantasy, and give a good mix and match of that. And second is, build yourself as a brand while simultaneously building your clinic, your institution. Because as I said, you will be a bigger brand than your clinic. So you have to make yourself one.
And how do you avoid comparison or pressure when you witness flashy practices from competitors on this path?
So I feel that their target audience is different and my target audience is different, and I don't compare it.
If right now you had to market yourself with zero budget, what would be the three things that you would do consistently?
So one thing is I would make educational content for my patients where it doesn't require any money. I just have to be active on social media and give some educational tips to our patients consistently. Number one. Second is I would build my personal reputation in my colleagues, in my industry. So one is building your trust, building your credibility among the patients. Another is building your credibility among your peers. So for that, maybe I would try to educate people in what I am best at. If I am good at managing diabetes in patients, then I would teach my junior colleagues how I managed to do that. So that's another thing that I would do. And third is maybe I would encourage my patients if they are satisfied, if they are convinced, then leave me a Google review, so that that is a good testimony for others seeking social proof of what I am doing.
And what would be your advice to younger doctors who are just starting out on how to grow without selling themselves out to the market?
Um, I understand it is very difficult, and I if I had to go back to my clinic starting days, um, I remember there was only one patient throughout my first month at Khurshid Healthcare. Only one patient. I would go, open the shutter, sit in the clinic for 2 hours, shut the shutter, and come back. There were days, at least initially, where I had swept my clinic's floor, and it is really difficult to witness such a thing. And subsequently, when patients started coming, and initially when there were no good number of patients and my fee was only 100 rupees, I would literally calculate how much money, how many patients would I need in an entire month or on an average daily, so that my overheads are met. My clinic's rent was 7,000 rupees, by the way, and there was one lady who would come. She was paid 1,500 rupees. So those were the times. But uh, when you persevere, when you are consistent in your efforts and try to do justice to whoever comes to you, I'm sure it grows like wildfire. It grows organically. Even at that time, there were times when people offered me a lot of lucrative schemes. Some pharmacies near my clinic, some medical representatives, but I chose not to do that. Uh, I felt at that moment it is too early for me to indulge into all that, and now I feel it is not needed. So it was like that.
So I think this will be the last question. How do you envision Caspian Healthcare 5 years from now, and what do you want it to stand for?
So Caspian, from a 3,500 SFT institution that it is now, is will hopefully be a 9 to 10,000 SFT hospital in maximum a year. The construction is already in place, and hopefully we will be moving there as early as possible. And maybe 5 years from now, I want Caspian to be seen as a center of excellence, at least in diabetes that I am, and also the core departments that it currently has. The pediatrics taken care of by you, cardiology taken care of by Dr. Muzammil. At least these three departments as centers of excellence. That is what I want, and I want it to be based on the four A's of primary care: affordable, accessible, acceptable, and what is the other one? So, yeah, the four A's of primary care. The fourth A is available, affordable, available, accessible, and acceptable.
So I think we can conclude with that. And if there's anyone else who has any other queries, they can drop it in the chat box or can.
So if there are no questions, we can end it. Once again, I thank all the participants and you, the host, and the HMP Foundation for this opportunity. Thank you.